1.2. I believe you now have a decent idea of what I was dealing with. However, like always, there's more than one side to this tale. Let's see how our antagonists have been doing. It was all so very new to him. The metallic tang in the air, the Caravantian soil drenched in blood beneath his feet, the ache at the back of his legs from the long distance and rough sleeping, the alertness from all that he had witnessed, and the need to contextualize even further. He stood there, in the front row, the shadow's knight. His gaze fixed on his father, Chaos, ahead. Unlike his icy father, he was snow. He had soft, pale skin, teeming with the signs of life, underlying hues of raspberry reds and plummy purples, like bare skin on a winter's eve. His features were generally soft, with a gently curved jaw and dull dark brown eyes. His hair was frosty, the lightest of teals, overgrown with spangs brushing past his ashy brown brows. His presence was that of a whisper amongst the roaring regiment. He felt so out of place. He presumed it was only natural. After all, this was his first official appearance. However, it didn't help that he was the only one strictly forbidden to transform and use his gem's energy. He donned the finest cloak Sordark had to offer, whilst his peers wore armour, armed and ready to attack. He looked down towards where his jewel-right gem would be. It was hanging from his neck, concealed beneath his clothes. From memory it was octagonal, more round than rectangular. An icy bluish-white, frosty and foggy, with a dark, almost scar-like line running partially through it. Chaos had never really treated him like the others. The others might have assumed it was because Oliver was his son, the Shadow's Knight and the heir to the throne. But, in truth, it was because Oliver was weak. He was either weak or simply useless. No matter how hard he trained, no matter how accomplished he became, he couldn't deny he was somewhat faulty, lacking basic control over his gem. Perhaps he was even a disappointment to his father and his nation. Perhaps that's why he was told to hide his gem and abstain from using it publicly. He turned his attention back towards his father. This was an opportunity. The sun had died completely a long time ago, and the shadows were standing in front of the castle's main gates. Ahead was their leader, the Sordatian ruler, a slightly crooked man, 38 years old, with silver hair that was once as dark and soft as charcoal. His skin was tight and stretched thinly over his sharp facial features. It was almost as transparent as ice, and ghostly echoing some sort of former beauty. He wore a range of blacks and purples, and very little armour. He didn't need it. The pitch-black gem of his was enough, should the matter come to it. His pale purple eyes stared up at the gates. It had taken him forever, but he had finally made it. He breathed it all in. He could separate the metallic tang from the air and focus solely on the fragrance of the greenery that decorated the intricate golden gates. It smelled so serene. And it was all his now. Almost his. He raised his hand, signalling something. Something the Shadow's Knight wouldn't quite understand. Chaos turned his head back towards his people. His eyes glistened in the flickering torchlight, briefly meeting Oliver's, instilling a chilling awe in his son's chest. The ruler of Sordark turned back towards the gates, signalling again. Oliver felt the exposed flesh on his face and neck prickle as though 1,000 tiny dull blades were simultaneously teasing to stab at his skin. He could sense the blast that was coming next. From the corner of his eyes, he could see his peers lifting their weapons, aiming at the gates, some getting into position by swarming in front of him. He clenched his jaw and commanded his body to remain rigid and still. He wouldn't show his fear. He wasn't afraid. This was just something so new to him. That was all. He wouldn't flinch. He couldn't. Not around all these people he didn't know. Not around the people who had shown him such respect and kindness. Not around people who assumed he deserved the high accolade he was given. Not around those whose hopes and resolves would die on discovering how weak the Shadow's Knight truly was. But he did flinch. Only a little. It was this crowd. He wasn't used to it. Had it just been him and his father, the blast wouldn't have scared him. It didn't scare him. It was just unusual. That's why he flinched upon hearing the loud explosion. Why he felt overwhelmed by the raw taste of the dust of destruction. And why his eyes watered ever so subtly as he looked straight ahead. There was nothing there. Nothing but a mass of particles, dust and glitter, dancing so graciously you would never have known what they had just suffered. It was mesmerizingly beautiful, so innocently appealing, and very, very deceptive. He felt his body freeze. "Forward!" demanded his father's voice, muffled by the ringing of the blast. He started to march, almost unknowingly, forced by the soldiers behind him. In the heart of the castle, the queen stood bravely by her husband. The little that remained of the special forces, the Guardians, had been ordered to retreat, as it was evident Carvantia was to fall. The royal guard had split into two. The smaller group was sent to protect the Guardians and significant political figures, and the larger group remained on the castle grounds. Most of the latter were killed as the Shadow's army stormed the castle. "Silhouetta, please leave. It isn't safe for you here." Hi. Hello. If you're interested in another episode, if you're here on launch day, episode 4 is here. Feel free to click that. If not, stick around for the ramblings, stick around for the, what do you call it? The bloopers, and also the art for today's episode. The schedule for release dates or episode releases is going to be somewhere across the line of Friday evenings or Friday afternoons, or Saturday way too early mornings, like 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. Oh, that's British time, by the way. So I think it won't be too bad for a lot of people out there. So you can expect to see episodes Friday, Saturday / around there. I'm still developing them. If things are delayed, then I'm sorry about that. But otherwise, yeah, that's it for today's episode. I think I really got a dip. Hopefully I get more episodes done, and hopefully I don't kill my voice at the same time. And that is it. Thank you so much for watching. It means incredibly much. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the art and everything. And yeah, live, laugh, LUARAH. Ha ha ha. His features were generally soft, with a gently curved jaw, like the shark. Meow, meow. Sharks don't. I really want to go to sleep at this point. It's not even time to sleep, it's 3 o'clock. From memory, it was octagonal, more round than rectangular. An icy bluish white. Frosty and froggy. Foggy? Froggy? Ribbit? No. No frogs here. Frosty and foggy, not frogs. We're gonna just move. Oh, flip sake, that fell. That's not good now, is it? No. Silly. I need more water. With silver air. Okay. You got that air in it. Oh, now I can't record right now. Okay, it's over. It's not over. Now we gotta wait. Okay, it's supposedly over now. Let's try again. Never mind, it's back on. The car alarm just doesn't know. It's like slightly being picked up on the mic. Okay, it seems to be off again. Nope, it's back on. This is the 4th time. Please help. Send a mechanic. Do I just take a break? Is this a sign? Take a break. The car alarm is struggling as well. It's like pausing in between. But yeah, side note though. My phone fixed itself. I think yesterday I said that it was broken. Like, it froze. It is no longer frozen. It is frozen too. No, it's working now. Yay. Whose car is that? I'm gonna go check. Do I check? I don't want to go check. It's over. I'm gonna hope it's over. Please be over. How am I an hour into this? Like, help. What's instilling? And what's installing? What am I trying to say? Chaos turned his head back towards his people. There's now a plane in the sky. Yay. Pause.